What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Altcoin Buzz. Today, we are going to talk about why the heck is there a Red Sea like this? I mean, Bitcoin going down from 9,000 to 8,000 during the week of consensus, right? So let me just open up and say, I don't know. I'm not, if you're tuning into this video to get the answer that I'm ultimately going to leave at the end, no, I don't have the answer. But what we're going to talk about is some of the stuff that's going on. We're just going to open it up and have the conversation because so many of us want to know and we want to try and dial it in. So I'm going to open it up to you guys in the community. And also I'm going to talk about some of the things that I had tweeted about and talked about today. One of which that's been on my mind quite often lately, and I'm going to share it with you because I tweeted it out on Blockchain J. I said, as investors and even entrepreneurs in cryptocurrency and blockchain space, we can be at a disadvantage if we're working from a position of desperation. Desperate investors are more prone to panic sell than stable investors. Work on solving this for your own personal growth. So what does that mean? Oh yeah. Don't forget to smash those likes, guys. Crush the like button for us and get this out there. So thanks to everyone who did that. You guys are right. So yeah, but so what does that mean, right? Um, why would you need to get out of a position of desperation, or what does it even mean if you how do you know if you're in a position of desperation? Well, what happens is if you're just living paycheck to paycheck, barely getting by, you're desperate for funds. Like if you lose $200 or if you lose $1,000, you're like, holy smokes, I got to sell this because what if it goes to zero? Whereas wealthy people, they have the luxury of just keeping money, setting it aside, and letting it sit when it goes up and down. And then when it finally reaches a peak at an all time high, they just sell. Whereas people who are desperate, they'll do anything to just get some money back, right? So I think this has happened to some people who are desperate. So if you're in a position of desperation, how can you get out of this desperation? Well, one of the things you can do in life, I mean, this is kind of outside of cryptocurrency, but try to find ways to bring in multiple sources of income. So they call them income streams, right? You don't need to just have your job that creates your source of income. You can have uh, side gigs. You could, I don't know, maybe you live in like what I was talking to my friend the other day. One of the things he does besides his main job is he grows cactus. Some of you are going to be like, well, I grow another thing that's green and you can smoke it, right? But I'm not saying to do that unless you're legal, right? But you get what I'm saying. So like people have other side gigs that they do. In this case, this guy, he sells cactus. Uh, he's a landscaper by day, but at night he grows and sells cactus. He also was talking about getting into Bitcoin because I was saying, hey, have you ever thought about investing in Bitcoin? And I was explaining to him one of the problems that happens with people is they buy high. So that goes back to another tweet that we talked about here on Blockchain J, where I said, the number one shitcoin on the planet Earth. Retweet this to get to the bottom of this. So like, I was like, well, what's the number one shit coin? Let's find out. You guys tell me what the number one coin is that you guys hate. And I was thinking about it, and I to be completely honest with you, I'll tell you what the number one shit coin is. It's the one that someone bought at the peak, at the all-time high. And guess what? These people, not you guys, because you guys hang out with us and you know you don't buy high, you buy when like low. Like right now, we're in a buying opportunity moment, in my opinion. But you know, it could retrace. That's the thing. When you buy low and it retraces, and you're in a position of desperation, when it goes even lower, you'll be like, oh man, I got to take a loss. I got to cut my losses because you're desperate and you're worried that if it goes to zero, this is money you can't afford to lose. So you know, if you're in a position of desperation where you've got to panic sell every time the market goes down, and you're also got this really terrible habit that's just screwing you out of all this success, which is you always love to buy high. Like when something starts shooting up on the charts, you're like, oh, it's time to buy. So that's how you get all these shit coins. Because Tron, to me, is not a shit coin, but to someone else it is because they bought at 21 cents. Me, when I first stepped into it, 1 cent and 3 cents. So I don't look at it the same way. But if I bought at 21 cents, I'd be like, this is bitter, or I'd be bitter about it. Whereas Kenya, for example, I bought Kenya high. Now's a good opportunity to buy Kenya. And I realize that because I have experience in the market. But because I bought kind of at a not I didn't buy it at an all-time high, but I thought it was at a low. I think I bought it at like 50 cents or something. It's down to like 19 cents. So, you know, but you got to get it if you can. Number one is if you can crush the likes because we got 60 likes. We got 419 people hanging out, which is a good thing. Just do me that one favor, crush the like button so we can continue to pump up this community and get this altcoin buzz team revved up. And yeah, there we go. We go from 60 to 81 just like that because you guys are awesome. Anyway, so 117. Look at that. We went from 60 to 117 all because you guys just pushed the button. You guys are the best. I tell you what. Anyway, the thing is, we've got to get out of a position of desperation, whether it be in business, because if you're barely getting by, you're going to do things that you wouldn't normally do if you weren't desperate. So the number one goal to being a successful investor and business person is get out of a position where you're desperate. Holy moly, 166 likes. Dang. All right. That was like 100 just like that in less than 30 seconds. Um so I'm gonna take a look here and see what's going on in some of the comments. I've obviously been kind of ranting for the last 6 minutes, and I just wanted to touch on that. But I think everyone that ultimately the number one shit coin is not any specific coin. Well, I'm sure there's some coins that are a little bit scammy, but without naming any names, ultimately it's high, okay? If you bought high and it retraced. So at the end of the day, how do you avoid buying all-time highs? Well, you've got to get into these situations where you have enough discernment and you have enough conscious ability to say, wow, I'm totally FOMOing right now. I'm going to wait for this to retrace. And so we all go through that phase. That's how I know. Like I was doing that. I used to buy high. I used to see, I mean, this was back when Neo hit 20, right? I should have bought Neo when it was at 10, but I was like, oh man, I'm going to FOMO into Neo right now at 20. Well, Neo went up to 120, but because I've been in crypto since back when Neo was that price, you know, I mean, I'm just saying I felt like I was FOMOing because when Neo went below 20, I was like, oh man, wow, Neo just went down, but just give it a little time and it goes back up. But you don't want to buy Neo when it's at $120 and it's reaching an all-time high. Okay. Same with Litecoin. All right. So I'm going to read some comments because you guys are all commenting. And I think I'm not doing you guys a justice if you're commenting and I'm not reading it. So first thing, anyone know when Coinbase is adding more options? So we talked about this previously. People were saying, hey, Coinbase going to add Tron. Coinbase going to add this and that. So far as I know, and some of you in the community could correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't really see Coinbase adding tokens, ERC20 tokens, or even Neo-based tokens, or any token. So now, because Tron's going to a coin, maybe, but as far as what coin they're going to add, I mean, part of me thinks Cardano. Part of me thinks Stellar's in the running. Where here's something to consider. Where is Coinbase located? Isn't Coinbase located in Silicon Valley? Correct me if I'm wrong. So, what projects are headquartered out of Silicon Valley? Where's Stellar Lumens headquartered? Right. So maybe they kind of bump into each other at bars and shoot it up. So maybe Stellar Lumens could be added there, right? That would make sense. And I'm going to say XRP Ripple would possibly be in the running for that. Another Jed McCaleb coin, right? So Coinbase is able to add ERC20 tokens, Jeff. You're misleading POS. Okay, so this guy, Kevers, is saying that Coinbase is able to add ERC20 tokens. Jeff, you misleading POS. So he thinks I'm a piece of shit. Thanks, Kevers. But I could be wrong. They could add tokens. So far, do they have any ERC20 tokens on Coinbase? No. So, I mean, let's be real. I mean, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, uh, Bitcoin, and Ethereum are all coins. So maybe they will. Jeff, could you kindly talk about trading and stuff, how to make money daily trading with BTC or USD T pairs? That sounds like a whole video, so we'd have to dial that in. Oh, Kever said, Haha, Jeff, it's all jokes. I love you. All right, Kevers, I love you too. Kevers comes in, calling me a POS. Now he loves me. He's like, hey, you big POS, let me give you a big bear hug. Um, yeah, so everyone wants to know why the heck is I love you too, Kevers. I don't even know you, but I didn't mind your comments. But I think it would be interesting to see if Coinbase goes out on a limb and adds a token, and I could shut my pie hole about that, right? Um, no, I'm not at consensus actually, regrettably, which I kind of wish I was. Um, so I pulled Kever's lever. It kind of rhymes. Whale manipulation. Okay, so about that, right? So I talked to some people on our team, Altcoin Buzz team. We've got Maddie. I just had a great conversation with Maddie. He's awesome. You can watch his videos on our channel. He does the news. I had a great conversation with him today, and I really like that guy. Like getting to know him. I'm hoping to go out there and meet him. But you know, if you want to talk about some of the things that our team was discussing, there's no real rhyme or reason to why the market is down, other than what old man over here said. He put a whale tail and he said whale manipulation. So who are the market makers? Who are the people who are pushing this market up or down, right? And those are the people who are kind of, for whatever reason, throttling the market. They're keeping it kind of cool, right? So why are they doing that during consensus? Well, it's kind of hard to run a fund, a crypto fund, or be a trader if you're occupied at a conference, right? So the results of what occurs at consensus, and I know a lot of you guys are going to agree with this because I know how you guys think. You're going to agree with this. The results of what's happening at consensus aren't going to be seen immediately, and it's going to be a trickle in gradual run. So that's what I would be on the lookout for, is the results of what happens at consensus. And we might not even see the results of consensus uh, productivity or what takes place from that right there until wait, is this thing lagging? Yeah, we saw some big pushes last year. um Yeah, Ryan T says it pumps 2 weeks after. John Hill says he doesn't agree. Um, okay, you guys are saying no lag. All right, no lag. Um, so thanks, guys. Thanks for keeping me on track. And so I think the thing that you have to keep in mind is there's still the G20 meeting that's coming up. When is the G20? The G20 decision, which is the global 20, we've talked about this. I think they're meeting in Argentina, right? So that G20, they're going to talk about cryptocurrency legislation at the global 20, are going to basically kind of just set the precedence of what is going to happen with cryptocurrency, right? A lot of us have grown kind of immune to it, and we're saying, hey, it's going to be, it's probably going to be, there's going to be a little bit of regulation that's going to come out. I mean, even CZ from Binance has said that. Many people have said a little bit of regulation is going to be good. So when you hear a little bit of regulations coming in and it might affect the price, welcome it with open arms, because it's going to secure things, right? Keep bad actors at bay, because there are some bad actors out there. But yeah, guys, thanks to everyone who's smashing the likes. We're at 233. So if you guys can smash those likes, we'll get this conversation pushed out a little bit further, and I'll keep on going. If you guys could please do that for me, that's great. If you've already smashed up the likes, crushed the like button, then hey, you already done your part. So what else can we say to you? Just, I guess, comment. Let me know what's on your mind, and I'll try and get to it. But yeah, the G20 is coming up, I believe, June or July. I don't know the exact date. So the meeting that takes place here, Rome wasn't built in one day, right? Rome wasn't built in one weekend. So, I mean, it takes time, and maybe whatever they're talking about. What do we know about corporations? They move slow, right? Everything corporate, it's got to go up the corporate ladder, get approval, then it's got to wait to get signed off. Then once it's signed off, they're like, oh, it's over on such and such's desk, he forgot to pass it on over here. And you're like, really? All I needed was the little documentation that said we're good to go, right? So these corporate bigwigs, they don't move fast with anything. I mean, I always say they move about as slow as molasses going uphill in the wintertime. And molasses is thick, and Boston's cold in the winter. So, I mean, this whole market recovery, could take some time. And that's why, if you go back to the beginning of the video, we were talking about getting yourself out of a position of desperation. Because if you're desperate, then you're going to have to, when the market starts retreating on you, instead of trying to buy, you're going to be looking to sell, which is what you don't, which is not the winning formula. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Someone tell me if buying high and selling low is the winning formula, because that's never going to, that doesn't work for anything, guys. So if you're one of those people who keeps finding yourself perpetually buying high, selling low, let's get you more in the mindset of saying, when everyone's panicking, you're saying, okay, I like that coin when it was really high and now it's on sale. Stop losses, yeah, I mean, you can set those on. I mean, what trading software are you using to have a stop loss? Or you could even set it on Binance. I mean, you could use the market or the limit on Binance, and when it hits your, if you're sleeping, you can, process that trade, right? So you can sell or buy. The important thing is to make good decisions in any game you play. John Hill says it's not market manipulation. We're still in a bear market. Yeah, I mean, and I think a lot of the bear market has to do with how are they going to regulate this, right? How is this thing going to be regulated before the, because every one of you guys know the big money, the institutional money is what's going to drive this market. It's not little Jeffrey. It's not little Jimmy boy. It's not Sally. It's not James. It's not Joey that's going to drive this market. It's, Bear Stearns and NASDAQ guys and all these big wigs, the CBOE, the Winklevoss twins, the people with the big money. They're the ones who are going to push this market up. CNBC is going to catch hold of it. Bitcoin, more than likely. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, so it's not good that I predict things, but I'm just kind of like getting the feel for what I think could happen. Bitcoin just starts surging past 20,000. Everyone's going to get excited. And what are they going to do? They're going to do what? FOMO. They're going to have a fear of missing out. They're going to buy high. You are going to laugh and say, holy smokes, I bought Bitcoin when it was at 8,000. I bought it when it was at 6,000. I bought it when it was at 9,000. You're going to watch everyone else FOMO, make the rookie mistake, and then Bitcoin's going to retrace, and it might just hover around 15 to 20,000 for a little while, and everyone's going to be like, Bitcoin's a shit coin, it's dead, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to be sitting there going, well, I might take profit, or I'll continue to wait for this market to surge. Worst case scenario is what? Well, we don't want to go into the worst case scenario, but you can make it up in your own mind how bad this thing could get. But we don't even need to do that. Anyways, guys, thanks to everyone who crushed up the likes. We're already at 293. Can we get it over 300? Whoa, 552 people tuning in. So if you're new here, crush those likes. Get us up over 300. Let's see how fast we. Oh, 310. We already did it. I'll stop there. Research your coins and FUD later, Lisa. Okay. All right. So what do you guys want to talk about? Yeah, it may surge slow. I mean, there's so many right now. Many of you guys are going to say this is an irrational, bearish market right now. It makes no sense to be bearish. But what's the big money deciding to do? When you're looking at it, think like you're a big money fund manager. You got the big money. What do you need? You need to have the protection to know that the regulations in place are going to be safe. It's a safety place for you. You're not going to be setting yourself up, where you're vulnerable to all sorts of blah, blah, blah that could come about from giving blah, blah, blah millions of dollars over here, right? So they've got to make sure that they don't have there's too much regulatory gray area. So the money that's in there is real risky money, but the money that's potentially coming in there, we got to wait on that. And if you're in a position of desperation where when the market's going down, you're not buying, but you're selling, that's where on the side, how are you getting streams of revenue coming into your bank account? What are you doing on the side that's legal? You can't do anything illegal and expect to win, guys. I mean, I learned that when I was 18. Like, I didn't even want to. No, nothing illegal is sustainable. So when you're thinking about ways to make money, whether it be having your own YouTube channel or having your own blog or having your own consulting firm or whatever you do, maybe you grow cactuses, right? How do you try to get 5 streams of income? Thank me later, right? 5 income streams. And yeah, it's totally possible because I went from $50,000 in debt to out of debt and, above that. Okay. So I was $50,000 in debt within 1 year. I had taken, and I didn't do a bailout. Right. And that debt was student loan debt. Okay. So I went to get my master's degree and I had used student loans to do that. And I paid off those student loans in 1 year. So, I mean, I know that you could change things and all it just saying, well, instead of having one source of income, because when that source of income drives up, where else are you going to get your money from, right? So get multiple streams of revenue coming in so that if one or two or three of those dry up, you still have two, but in a real great setting, you have all five and you're just bankrolling, you're paying off debt in no time, so um that's what I like to see you guys get in a position so you're not desperate, because I know that's what's causing the panic sells is the desperation, because I've been there. Anyways, I mean, I'm trying to share my experience with you guys to inspire you, to let you know that you can go from $50,000 in debt to out of debt and then have a bankroll all within 1 year by basically getting yourself out of desperate situations and creating multiple streams of revenue. Eric LeBron, let's see what he says. I love weak hands. A lot of rookies in crypto. I actually don't like weak hands. I don't like weak hands. I actually want to tell them, hey, wake up, snap out of it, there, goofball. I mean, seriously, like, why would I know you're joking, bro? I know, because if you tell them that, hey, if you're sympathetic with them, they won't listen, right? But um, Air LeBron says hodl and sell in December. Yeah, I mean, can you wait it out a year? Do you have to touch this money tomorrow? That's what I'm saying. So, thanks to everyone who crushed the like button, man. We've had one of our best live feeds we've ever had right now. This is some of the highest numbers we've ever put on the board, and it goes out to you guys, the Altcoin Buzz Army. I'm going to turn it over to you guys to ask some questions and just get the conversation going, and we'll get the dialogue going if you guys want to. Like I said, follow me on Twitter, Blockchain J. I talked about a lot of stuff. Also follow Altcoin Buzz IO over there. So we've got a lot. Oh, one more thing that I did tweet. You guys are going to like this. Okay, so I've been talking to people, my brother, my friends, and they're always like, this is like a common trend, and I think a lot of you guys are going to know what I'm talking about. Dude, what is up with $1,215 a month healthcare? Like, since when did this ever become a thing? People are paying $1,200 a month, $1,500 a month. And I mean, I'm not trying to get political here, because that's not what I'm really into. I'm not trying to bring politics into cryptocurrency. But if they did bring in some healthcare reform and people stop paying $1,200 and $1,500 a month for healthcare that they hardly even use, could you imagine how much fiat could be freed up for crypto funds with just some healthcare reform? I mean, I'm just saying, guys, that's right there on Blockchain J. I tweeted that out. And I mean, a lot of you guys are saying it's gotten out of control with how much people are paying for healthcare. Oh, why two beds? Yeah, this is one of those hotels where they gave me two queen beds. I was like, whatever. Yeah, you guys are saying advertise my live feeds on Twitter. I could. Yeah, I hold XRP. Antelope Valley. What's up, man? Sorry about that. You guys keep saying preach. Sorry, you guys are saying preach, brother, preach. I'm not trying to preach. I'm saying, like, when things just don't make sense, or when things can be fixed just by saying something, I mean, why not say it? You know how much I've learned from people? Everything I know, I've learned from someone else, whether it be from a book or, some of it is from, like, my mom would say, don't touch the stove. So I had to touch the stove. They say, hey, don't eat that chili pepper. So I had to go eat the chili pepper. Actually, I'll tell you a crazy story uh, real quick. I was a little kid. There was these little chilies, man. I think they're not called habaneros, but they're these little chili peppers, and I was crushing them in my backyard. I was like 5 years old, and I was just crushing them. And I started, like, I like rubbed my eyes, and I, like, went to the bathroom. All of a sudden, man, I just started heating up all over my whole body. I was screaming. I had to jump in the shower real quick. But the chili peppers, man, I knew not to eat chili peppers because everybody told me chili peppers are hot, but I was still playing with them and, whatever. Anyways, what's going on, guys? Ghost peppers, that's what it is. XYZ. He knows what I'm talking about. Those ghost peppers. Stay away from those things. Do not double dog dare your best friend to eat ghost peppers because those things are wicked. They'll even mess you up if you touch them, like just touching them. Horrible story, Jeff. Horrible story, he says. Brian says. Where are you now, Jeffrey? Um, well, I'm in United States. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona right now. I'm actually thinking about moving to Phoenix. You guys ever been here? Well, Jay, man, I can't really say what's going up, everybody, because the market. If we just look at the market right now, I mean, I was looking at the market. I was hanging out with Steve again today. You guys all know our buddy Steve. Everyone likes Steve, right? I was hanging out with him today. We were looking at the crypto market, and I was like, "Oh my God, we went below $400 billion during consensus. What the heck is going on here?" And we were just like, "Hey, man, we go back and forth. I'm sure just like your buddies who are all invested in crypto, but I mean, looking at the market cap right now, $377 billion. What the heck's going on? Bitcoin dominance is even going up. Jesus." Air LeBron says you pundy guys are annoying. Rena says I live in Phoenix. I love it. Yeah, Phoenix is awesome. What's up, Robert Bronner? I'm sorry for ignoring you, man. What's up, bro? I'm sorry if I don't read all your guys' comments. I know that can be frustrating, especially if you repeat yourself. Garrett, yes, I am an Arizona Cardinals fan. And actually, the Phoenix Suns today got the #1 lottery pick. I told my lottery pick. I'm coming back. Yeah, I'm looking to fix it to where it's not just my mug. As you know, I don't because I want you to look at my mug. Okay, I pretty much started the whole channel doing the videos with just screen shares, right? So it's not about, hey, look at me, hey, look at me. It's just the only way I know how to go live is by pushing the YouTube live button. Until I can figure out how to get this going. Oh, stream is lagging. Robert Bronner says you can call him Black Row. Right, Black Row. The Suns still exist. Yeah, the Suns stink, man. They stink so bad they got the #1 pick. But hey, I'm coming back, so that's why they had to get the #1 pick. Thanks, Garrett, for letting me know. Yeah, I mean, there's buying opportunities, guys. I mean, but if you buy here and it goes lower, are you gonna blame me for saying this is a buying opportunity? So I mean, you can't. You have to make that decision for yourself. I mean, we all have. It's like, hey, if you're showing up to my party, it's your choice if you're going to bring the cognac or the Hennessy or the whiskey or the tequila. I mean, it's not my choice if you bring the tequila and I drink it all. Well, yeah, I guess that is my choice. But or if someone else drinks it all, okay. So if you buy now because you think it's a buy opportunity, that's your decision. How much lower can it go? I mean, that's like saying how deep does the rabbit hole go? And I'm like, I just showed up here at the rabbit hole. But I mean, we've always said the support level could be real nasty. I mean, that's I mean, but all I can say to you guys is what I'm going to do. And I can't tell you what to do because I'm not going to be giving you guys advice, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll hold like a son of a gun. That's what I'll do. Because I ain't desperate. I don't like working from a position of desperation because I've been that guy who was like, you know, kind of desperate. You've started over in life. I think everyone started over. I've started over 3 times in my life. Once when I went into once when I got out of high school because I was pretty good in high school. I was feeling pretty good. I was happy. Everything life was good. Then I got out and I had to basically, start from the ground up. And then I made it in 2 years. I made it to the top in that business. I was making a lot of money when I was 19. I was making $60,000. Then I got out of that. I went into the Navy in 2003, and they paid me like 18,000, like 13 or $18,000 my first year in the Navy. I was like, this is like poverty level here. Granted, they paid for my barracks room, so I was living in the barracks room in the middle of the desert where there's no party going on except for like drunken sailors, right? But so that was 2 times starting over there, and then when I got out of the Navy, I started over, and then I started a business, built that up, and then parted ways with that, traveled the world my first time. And then I came back and I started a business. I started over, went back to school again. So I've started over 4 times. So I know what it's like to be with your back up against the wall. But my formula to getting my back up against the wall is work hard, like push. Like I've been the guy who's sitting in the shower going, oh man, when will this stop? But man, once you're in that grind, just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. So that's why I say just work hard. You if you lack intelligence and you outwork everyone, do you know who usually wins out? The person who works the hardest probably will win out. Well, you got to have some intelligence. You can't just be a blooming moron and make bad decisions, right? But if you combine a little bit of intelligence with a good work ethic, you could probably outpace most of the people. That's that 7 days a week, 18 hours a day kind of mentality. And yeah, you can do it. I mean, you're working 18 hours a day, but you're taking breaks in between, eating and doing all that. But your mind is 18 hours a day rolling with well, maybe 16 hours a day. You got to get 8 hours of sleep. I don't want to give you guys bad advice, right? Got any advice for starting new business? Major pointers. Yeah. Okay. That's a great question because I've started several businesses. Uh, let me tell you this. You got to work hard. Gary V's right. Grant Cardone's right. All these people who tell you that Michael Jordan was the first in the gym and the last to leave, you've got it. But here's the thing. This is the secret. And Steve Jobs said it. And look, Steve Jobs was right. Okay. Number one. Okay. You've got to be passionate about what you're going to do. You got to find your labor of love. If you look at that book, how to get, what is it? How I think it's Think and Grow Rich, right? And there's another one called How to Win Friends and Influence People. But Think and Grow Rich, written by Napoleon Hill, I believe is his name. But I've read the book several times. I can't even remember the author because one's Carnegie and one's uh, Napoleon Hill. But let me tell you this: you've got to pick something that when you're going through hard times that you're not going to give up on, right? So you've got to have a labor of love. That's Steve Jobs basically said that, translated from what uh, Andrew or Napoleon Hill said. Okay, so you got to have a labor of love. You got to love what you do because when the going gets tough, if you don't love what you're going to do, you're going to say, "F this, I'm out," right? But then you've got to be willing. You only fail if you give up. And you know who said that? And I'll tell you a true story about how it's true. Donald Trump said that on the documentary. That was when I heard it the first time, and it finally touched. When someone says something that plucks a chord, whether you like Donald or not, I don't know. I mean, that's not really here or there, but here and there. But he said, "You only fail if you give up." And I said, "Yeah, you know what? That makes sense." So all you got to do is not give up. You got to pick something you like, stay focused at it, and not give up because that's the only way you're going to fail. Now, there is some situations where, like, if you're starting up a local business, that's not a good time to start up a local business, especially when Amazon's coming through putting everyone out of jobs. So don't, you got all that going on, right? But if you just look at the story of Trump, I mean, that guy, I thought he was done when he said to McCain, he goes, "I like people who don't get captured." I thought every veteran on earth was going to uh, do away with them, and he was done. He came out of that one alive. I was like, what? Okay, he's still alive. Then he said he likes to grab girls by the what, and I was like, oh no, he's done. I was like, you don't. And he was on camera saying that to Billy Bush, and I'm like, oh dude, he's done. He's done. He's on camera saying that. There's no way a president's ever going to get elected if he said that. He didn't give up, and he ended up doing it. So I don't know, man. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not trying to be political or anything like that, guys. It's just more you guys ask me what it is, the recipe to success. Pick something that you guys like, pick something you're passionate about. It looks like a lot of you guys are passionate about crypto, so why don't you try to get jobs in crypto? And then pick it and stick with it. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. So you got to be tough enough to weather the storm and not get sour when something doesn't work your way. They say, oh, millennials, they want everything to go their way. They're the baby generation. They got a trophy for everything. And I'm like, okay, look, no, they just don't want to do it the way that's not going to work, which you guys are smart enough to know what's going to work in today's economy and today's world. You're no better or worse than the previous generations. if you're a millennial. Some of you guys are Gen Xers. Crush the likes if you guys want me to keep going. Is there a crypto job where losing money is the goal? I'd hope not. Well, what? Losing fiat and changing it for digital currency? I mean, that's the question, right? Okay, looks like we got a bunch of Pundy X people here. I have no idea what this deal is with the Pundy X. Matthew B says, I'm getting old. I want crypto to rise tomorrow. Yeah, well, I think we all would. Well, it depends. Are you trying to stockpile or are you trying to sell? You know, there's multiple reasons to hold, but there might be some reasons. If you bought back in September, market's still up significantly with a lot of positions up from September levels. I mean, if you bought back in June, I mean, we haven't even reached a year ago. So, I mean, if you bought back in December, it's only been 6 months. 6 months. Come on. 6 months? Yeah, 5 months, 6 months, something like that. Okay, you guys want to know what happened to LTC? Let's take a look at LTC. You guys are like, whoa, what's going on with LTC? Well, I mean, it didn't have an irregular price action. Look at EOS. EOS got pounded pretty much. Even Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin's another one that's Bitcoin's really taken a beating this week. So um Verge is Verge got hit pretty bad. I mean, but you know, that's usually the time to buy. I'm not saying buy Verge, but I'm saying like when your position is just getting annihilated and you really believe in it, it's usually the time to buy. So, anyways, guys, thanks to everyone who crushed the like button for me. And you know, it looks like everyone's kind of getting bored, and I'm getting tired because I'm fatiguing. I've been talking my big motor mouth, jibber jabber Jay's been just jamming out here. But yeah, like I said, follow me on Blockchain Jay. Keep the conversation pumping over there on Twitter. Okay. Power killed it today. You talking about Power Ledger? Take a look here. Ooh, 54 cents. Also, guys, if you're trying to get news, follow Altcoin Buzz News. Those guys are killing it over there. Sebastian, Chris, you've got to follow it over there. Altcoin Buzz News is a Twitter account. Why does Altcoin Buzz and Altcoin Buzz News have a separate Twitter account? Because they're only doing news. Whereas Altcoin Buzz, the Altcoin Buzz IO on Twitter just tweets about certain things, okay? So, uh just saying. All right, guys. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. Love you all, and we'll see you next time.